Somebody got the paddle back there. Who plays? What's that plays? What's that? What's that say on there? Who room it? What? Who room is you? Who room is that? Is that your room or his room? Huh?
The game room.
The game room?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got some random shoes in there.
That's all of his shoes and all of his things.
Is that Kobe?
It is.
Oh. Bye, Joel.
What?
I appreciate Kobe. But it's going to be a no for me.
We're going live in 1 minute, guys.
Uh-oh, I ain't ready.
And
Cheryl, you nervous? What up, DD?
DD! DD! Get a chair. Get a chair, DD.
We gotta get our Christmas game night going.
Oh, DD.
Light skin to the rescue.
Join us.
Brown skin, that's my nephew. Y'all ready for me to freestyle this live tonight?
So it'll start, and I'm gonna introduce what this is and what we're doing, and then I'm gonna ask you a this or that question and let you introduce yourself.
Do you want us to make an announcement that one of us may have to dip off every once in a while, or do we just dip off?
You can. We are going live now. The only thing that I would say is make sure that we're muting our mics if stuff start getting crazy.
This one ain't gonna use the computer though.
Hello, everyone. I cannot see it on Facebook. Oh, there we are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Starting Point. Today is a special day because I have some of my family on here. It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a funny night. I can feel it already. So if you're watching this for the first time, go ahead and like and share this video. Today we're going to be talking about shooting your shot. And we're going to be talking about that in Starting Point, which is a virtual living room where we talk about overcoming fears, overcoming obstacles that may be in your life. And as for me and my house, as you found out earlier today on this Facebook page, I have a great fear of shooting shots. I do not know what it means to flirt. I am not the expert on this phone call. I will just be here to ask the questions. And these lovely people will be sharing their hearts as we go through this video. So again, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you're sharing it, that you're liking this video, and that you say, what's up in the comments below. I'm gonna go ahead and allow the guests to introduce themselves. And when you introduce yourself, I want you to answer this question. This or that, which is better, the first day of school or the last day of school? When you were in school, which was better, the first or the last day? Whoever wants to take that first and introduce themselves. Unmute yourself.
All right, so I'm Alicia Johnson, and Jasmine is my sister, which I'm really proud to be on and happy to be on the Starting Point. What's up, Starting Pointers? You have a name like the Starting Point Nation, Starting Pointies,
whatever. Like Information Church.
The Start Hive, like the Beehive. But anyway, what am I supposed to say about myself? Just I have 3 kids and
whatever
all that stuff. Oh, what's up?
Your relationship status is important.
I am a married African-American female. No, but and we have 3 kids who've been married for 7 years, and I'm a social worker and I'm in education, and I just am excited to be here. Shameless plug, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is also the sorority of our VP-elect Kamala Harris. So yeah. And I would choose the last day of school. Nobody got time for the first day. It's always got to be the last day.
Every time.
So I can know that I can stay up late and sleep in.
Good.
And I'm Mike Johnson. I am married to this beautiful woman, and therefore these are now my family members. Thanks everybody for having me on. Jazz, thanks for having me on the starting point as well. I would also select the last day of school, as I got tired of the competition of trying to figure out what's gonna wear on the first day of school, compete with everybody else. The last day of school is just so relaxed, you be gone.
Yeah, there's no work to be done on our last day of school. Also, y'all, we have 3 kids, like I said, so we may be in and out of the frames. Just flow with us.
Who up next? So we got 2 for the last day of school.
I guess I'll go. Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm everyone's cousin. I'm not married and I don't have kids. I work in education too. I think most of us work in education. Yeah. And the last day of school. Yeah.
Why?
I'm always trying to find the means to an end, and that's the end. So at that point, I have found the means.
Respect. Trail, you up.
All right. So my name is Kentrell Brazil. I'm the nephew of Leisha and Jasmine and Mike, Danielle's cousin. I am single, and I will say that my favorite day is gonna be the first day of school because I always iron all my clothes before the first day of school.
You did.
I don't know why I do that. I just be ready to get it started, but I don't know. I don't like the last. I don't know. I don't have a favorite, first or last. The last day of school is you ain't got to wake up early anymore to go to campus, so that's a positive thing. I'm in school right now for radiology, so in about 23 months I will have that certificate under my belt.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys for being.
Wait, Trell, do you still iron your clothes for the first day of school, or was that just high school?
That was just all the way up. But after I left high school, I stopped that.
It's done, daughter.
Then I started wearing basketball shorts to class.
I remember that. You was always fresh. I think that if I had to choose, I would choose the first day of school too. Why? Because it was the outfit choice is what really draws me in. You like get to stay up and be like, what I'm gonna wear? How I'm gonna put this together?
You don't even like to dress up.
Listen, I used to. You would go school supply shopping, you get your backpack, you'll be like, look at, in college, that was totally different. But in high school, I think that the first day of school would have been my favorite. Currently in grad school, the last day of school is my favorite of all of the days. 100% it is. And so if you're watching this video, make sure that you say what's up to us in the comments. Make sure that you like this video, that you share this video. I see that Martin is on. What's up, Martin? Hello. It's nice to see you. And as I said on previous posts on this page, and I have said over and over again to these beautiful people that are on here today, I don't know the first thing about shooting your shot. I'm not gonna pretend to act like I know. I am here to ask the questions. My flirting style is falling asleep in your presence and hoping that I don't know what I hope happens. That is
Why
my.
you sleep though?
I don't know. I just get so anxious. Like I get nervous, so I fake being asleep.
You got narcolepsy?
Notice she said fake sleep, not real sleep, fake sleep.
Not even real. It is.
Oh, I remember. Okay.
But remember, we're not gonna put my business in the street. But it's definitely fake sleeping.
I'm trying to figure out the next move.
Like
You wake up and you're like, I gotta go.
You gonna leave or what?
Yes, just gotta
Are
run
you-
out of there, mother. That's what it is. It doesn't make sense. That's why I'm not gonna talk. That's why y'all not gonna get my perspective tonight. I may jump in and jump
Like
out.
hoping for breakfast or something like
or
that.
you can
waiting
just
for
say, I
breakfast.
like your car.
All right. That was one time.
Uh-huh.
Or I will completely ignore you. And these wonderful ones that are on this call, that are on this starting point with me today, they have been encouraging me to step out of my comfort zone this past year, encouraging me to shoot shots that I would not normally shoot, encouraging me to see my own value, encouraging me to see my own defense mechanisms that I may use to avoid being around people. And so I have been coming out of my shell. I'm still struggling, still on the struggle bus. And so I think that coming from a counseling background and being in grad school, a lot of what we do on a regular basis is we learn definitions of words. We learn definitions of what a diagnosis is, and specifically within the DSM-5, and you like trying to figure out how does this match up. And so I want to start us off with defining what it means to shoot your shot, as to that we can all have a level playing field of what we're talking about. I know that being Christian, there can be some like back and forth with what that idea is. And so to you, for the sake of this conversation, what does it mean to shoot your shot?
To me, I'm putting in my bid. I am advocating for myself. I know, like, who better to advocate for you than you? Are you gonna let life happen to you, or are you gonna make it happen? Okay. If you want it, you get it.
Put it in your bed.
To me, I think that is what I think shooting your shot is the same as like for women, the same as when like dudes just to walk across the club and be like, hey, what's your name? Da 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 da. I think it's just really making the first move and letting it be known that you are interested in being in a relationship with that person or trying to be in a relationship. That's what I think shooting your shot is. So
yeah.
Not to be confused with flirting, but what you think?
I think the same. I agree with that. I'm not gonna add on that. That was good. I'll take that as it is. I don't know about that bed stuff though.
Yeah, she had her own flavor to that.
Okay.
Now putting in my feet.
She had a roster was like,
Had a menu.
I like it. That's why I wanted us all to be on, because I know that we all have very differing ways of explaining it and views of it. And I feel like that'll work well for this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cheryl, what do you think shooting your shot is?
I'll say the same. Basically, stepping out of your comfort zone and pursuing someone that you like.
Yeah.
It's all about stepping out.
That's how I would define it. For the sake of this conversation, and shooting your shot is just showing interest. I think that I don't want to put, I'm not even going to say that. I think that it can be easy. It has been easy for me in the past to think that people will know that I am interested in them by just being present. Like if I could just be in the same space with you, then maybe you'll know. But then there would be dudes that would try to talk to me that I would ignore, or I would fake like I was asleep, and they wouldn't know that I was interested in them. And so in my mind, shooting your shot means just being able to show someone that you are interested and not act ridiculous.
I'll be honest, that's like the exact opposite. When you go to sleep, I'm like, I would feel you're bored. Like,
right. If I was in the car,
I'm a terrible company.
You gotta communicate it with words or something.
Can I give an example for you, Jasmine?
Yes, please.
Okay. So say like you say you want to be in their presence and you just want to be there. So what if there's another girl that want to be in their presence, but the girl isn't afraid to come out of her comfort zone and say something?
That's the
then
problem.
And then you'll be like, well, man, I should have did this.
And that is my problem. That is where I am. And not to say there's a lot of dudes that I'm out here interested in. So please don't hear that, because there are if I have fallen asleep around you, that don't mean that I like you. I could have been tired. But that's important.
You just confused us. You just confused us.
That's what we need. We need you to be confused. Let's move on, guys. This is not about Jasmine today. This is about. So my question, do you think that it's appropriate? Here's the first question. Do you think that it's appropriate for girls to shoot their shot or to show interest in guys? I think that I'm gonna give you that question.
I don't think it's a matter of appropriate. I think it's a matter of what you feel comfortable with. I never did that, but that's not because I didn't think it. I don't have no issue with girls who do that. It's just for me, that was not my tactic in the dating scene. I was like coy and on the wall, fluttering my lashes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I was doing the more hard to get type situation. So I think it's just a matter of what you feel most comfortable with, And I also think I didn't try because, a lot of times you do get taught like it's not ladylike for you to do that. And so, but the other side of that is I didn't want to be rejected. So, you were trying to figure out if you could get all the facts before you let your interest be known. Like, does he have a girlfriend? Does that blink mean that he really liked me? I was too not shy, but I guess I'll say shy to try and step out there and do something like that. So, I think that if you have the confidence and the boldness to do it, go for it. But that just wasn't my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's good.
I would say I think every situation is different. If I got nieces, I would tell them to reserve their shot, unless it, like it's necessary, you reserve that unless it's like a great moment, you know what I'm saying? Part of it, I feel like you have to be in certain moments and you just kind of can feel it, something that you, may recognize in a moment like, hey, this may be something, I would reserve that though, because, it can be really disappointing if things don't go well. But for the most part, I personally feel like for the most part that women should be pursued. But like I said, every moment is different though.
Okay.
In my adult life, I wouldn't say pursue people, because for me, like when you say shoot your shot, it's like the initial interaction.
Yeah.
To like determine interest. So I have no problem being like, I like you. Do you like me? Yes or no? I have said that in my adult life, guys. Like,
did you write it out?
No, it was actually on the telephone.
Oh,
because I felt like we were just talking all the time, and I'm also very comfortable flirting. But people just flirt. That's the thing, and you just never know where something is going. And if you wanted to go more, you're like, hey, do you like me? Yes or no? Are we on the same page, or am I wasting my time? I'm not interested in being just friends. Like, I gotta do those. Because some people,
they'll drag you along.
They will, and some people you just don't see in that light. Like some do. Like,
that's
and maybe
precious.
that's just a sign. You shouldn't like a dude you would want to be your friend anyway.
Well, so that's not really no shot though. Yeah. If you already on the phone and y'all chit-chatting it up, that ain't really no shot.
No, it depends on that. It depends.
Because you already on the phone.
It depends on the space you know each other. For this person in particular, this happens to be like a trend of mine, but we were coworkers. So I mean, you communicate with all the time.
You want the dude that you just started chopping it up with to tell you if he like you, yes or no?
I mean, we were coworkers, so it's like we had known each other, and I was like, you know what?
At what point does it transition? Because I think that's a good point, that when we talk about shooting your shot is initial interest. And I got questions, but I feel like I have a question in my head now. What if, because the shots that I have thought I shot, they have been with people that I was friends with first. I thought I did. I don't think I actually did, because it was something ridiculous. But I thought I did. And in that situation, we were friends first. And so being able to shoot a shot that says, hey, like, I don't want to be your friend. I am actually interested in you. At what point does that transition happen? Like, at what point is it weird? Is it ever weird? Is it always okay to be like, things are changing for me?
I don't think so.
I don't feel like it's weird until they tell you that they're not interested.
If you do like this and tell them, you can change it.
If you're trying to shoot your shot at a guy and he's one of your friends and you're trying to make the initiative of going out more often with him, by him and trying to invite more people, I feel like that's a way of him telling you that he don't want to do anything. I mean, he don't want that alone time with you.
Yeah. Okay. No.
I I wasn't in the frame when Danielle was saying what she was saying, but I kind of feel like too that like there's not a problem with asking somebody straight up like, hey, we've been talking, I am catching feelings. Can I just ask you, like, are we on the same page? Like, I think that it's important to know that, you know, not are we boyfriend and girlfriend, not pressuring them to be in a relationship, but like, are we doing the same thing? Because I don't want to be
How early on is that though?
I don't know. I've had people from jump be like, hey, I want to date you. Like, or you have a situation where you feel like I don't want to be.
That's a heavy card to put down.
You know, like, you know, sometimes people be too deep. They be like, you my wife. And I be like, chill, bro. But, you know, I just feel like that, and that's weird. That's very weird. But I just feel like there's different levels to it, you know. I mean, in our situation, it was pretty evident we were going to be exclusive from the jump. It wasn't like, it was like we talked one night and one conversation and we never stopped communicating. And it was never this thought like, oh, he's just trying to be my friend. Like, I knew he was trying to be in a relationship with me. And that was from the very beginning. So I don't.
What did that look like? How did you know that?
At what point was it like,
I'm asking both of you guys. At what point did you know that it wasn't just
extended family?
Well, I think for me, it was when because we have been up talking when we first reconnected. Because mind you, there's a 4-year space in between us reconnecting and then all that. So like we were friends. He shot his shot, and I was like, no, thank you. And then it was like 4 years later. No. I was like,
hitting on the glass like LeBron.
I'm not okay with this right now.
Chase down block.
You know, I just was very uncomfortable because of how close our families were. Like, I was very uncomfortable with that. And so 4 years later, when we had our first conversation, he walked in the room. Like, when I got home after us talking for about 4 or 5 hours, I was like, I didn't give him my number, and then he texts me. So the very fact that he, without asking for my number, got my number, and then continue more conversation after I got home, after we had already talked 4 or 5 hours, that was a huge green flag that like, hey, dude is not trying to be your friend only, you know, like, it was a vibe there that wasn't a friend vibe. It was like a hey, a ho ho, you know.
A hey and a ho.
So in the what is it? The time frame that we're in now with social media, I see a lot of. So I'm on TikTok, right? I am, and I see videos on there where they'll be like, I just saw this fine person, somebody find them for me. Or people will put up pictures of people on Twitter, and it'll be people that they see in person or that they haven't seen in person. They'll be like, find this person for me. And so it seems like there is a distance that is being created from people that is like, there's a fear of approaching people in person. That if I could just type something, or if I could just like DM you, or if I could just.
That would be worse. That would be worse to me.
Tell me.
What if you find them and then all of a sudden they're like, ugh, you know, and she like, ugh, I don't like him. I'd be like, dang, everybody know, hey, whatever happened with you and the old girl? It's public. Good.
It's like your rejection went viral at that point.
I know, right? I want that private shame.
So you prefer for shots to be shot in person and not via social media?
I would.
This is like, I told my homeboy this. I was grown. So Brandon, everybody knows Brandon. He was telling me how social media give guys like this boost. It's like liquid courage, but social media. Like they have this confidence because they don't have to fear rejection, like in the flesh. Like if somebody just says block or don't talk to you, like you just go back to you playing PlayStation. Like nobody's, like I have had teenagers DM me, like, can I get your number? Can we talk? And I'm grown. But he was just like, you know, it gives like men, or in that case, boys, like this unwavering confidence. Like I'm not going to be rejected in person. Like she's not, like, what's the worst that can happen? She blocked me. So you get like I get a lot of outlandish DMs sometimes. that are weird. So I don't respond to DMs typically. So I mean, that ain't the way you should shoot your shot with me.
It depends on how you approach the DMs. Like you just can't add somebody on social media and then jump into their DMs like, hey, how you doing? I would do like research on their profile, see how they are. But then again, everybody give the world a different look at themselves on social media than behind closed doors. But I would start out by like liking maybe 2 pictures, and then I'll wait a little bit. I just don't pursue right off.
Some notes.
You gotta like 10 pictures, Jasmine.
10?
10.
I wouldn't like the first 2. I'll go like look through their pictures, like see how they are, and then like your favorite 2. Like I like like if I was to do it, I would like my most favorite 2 pictures of that person. Like that just doesn't show like
down in the like they old.
I'm not going to 2015. I'm not going.
No.
Go to 2015. That's how you know they interested, because they done went all the way down to get your attention.
That's
how I know you were looking.
Listen, I'm taking your instructions, so I need to know. Don't give me no weird stuff.
I don't know. Maybe I'm out of practice. I think that it's been 7 years or so since we were 8, since we were even in this kind of realm. But I remember like when people used to jump in your inbox, like it was expected, but it was also kind of like creepy a little bit only. Like, but I think now it's more widely accepted. But I also think that it's very unnerving for people if they're complete strangers. Like it would really need to be somebody that maybe you just met at a gathering or a kickback and y'all didn't exchange information, but maybe you found them on social media and added them. Like, you know.
Stalk them down.
Martin is
That's a joke.
I slid in my boyfriend's DMs like before we decided to be more than coworkers.
Did you see him? Did you get one of the reactions to like a video?
He never posts nothing. So whenever he would post stories, I would just like send messages, and sometimes it'd be like 1-word messages or like a little phrase, so like a little joke. I was trying to be funny because I'm funny, and that's one of my best like things. Like, I mean, I think that's one of the qualities I gotta sell, because sometimes I'm gonna be consistently funny, but I'm not gonna be consistently anything else, I feel like. So you gotta sell on the comedy. But yeah, I would just like slide in his DMs whenever he would post stories, and he would respond. And then one day, it was actually New Year's Eve, he transitioned from the DM into texting me once. But again, we only had our numbers because we were coworkers, so it wasn't. Yeah.
So again, y'all weren't strangers.
Yeah, we weren't complete strangers. I'm not with the complete stranger in my DM. That's like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, that feels like you're gonna get kidnapped.
The only time I
That's
really
a layup.
The only
We're talking
time
about a fadeaway.
The only time I really know that has worked. I have a couple of friends who, y'all remember Black Planet, Black People Meet, one of them two. I do have a friend who
You know Black Planet?
Urban Chat.
Where was that?
I do have a friend who
I'm
met
about to
her
find
now
her profile.
husband on Black People Meet.
Oh.
Yeah, Black People Meet. So I mean, it's
Christian Mingle?
no, ain't nobody going to Christian Mingle.
FarmersOnly.com.
FarmersMeet.com.
You don't have to be lonely. No, nobody's doing that.
Hey, get your lady in some land. Look.
No.
You pull up in that tractor, it's a done daughter.
Did y'all see Dave Chappelle's opening on SNL? He just had a joke about that.
I did see that today. So I guess my next question is, because it does seem like the guys enjoy pursuing, the guys do enjoy a chase, that I'm more reserved. I'm trying to, we're not going to get into me again because I don't want this to turn into a Jasmine, do this show. But do you think guys and girls have the same level of fear when it comes to rejection for the opposite?
No.
I think so, for sure.
No.
Yeah.
You ain't shot no shots. You don't know.
So I mean, who always?
Don't talk about your boyfriend. Don't talk about your boyfriend. That ain't no shot. That was a layup.
No, I'm not talking about
a finger
him.
roll.
So here's my take on it. It depends on how seriously I take you based on how I interact with you. So for my boyfriend, someone I I mean, at the moment, I didn't know it could be anything, honestly. But we also work together, so you can't come on too strong because then it'd be awkward. So, but for like complete strangers that I meet at a kickback or something, and we chopped it up for a couple hours, they seem cool. It's easier for me to shoot the full shot. But also, I don't know how to word this. It depends on what you're looking for from the person. Like, if I am looking for my partner, then I might be a little more, let him just show me what he's like. But
what are we talking about?
if it's not gonna be my partner, then I'm just gonna be like, A, B, C, D, moving on.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing.
I'm just saying, like, that's the times I've shot my shot, like slam dunk. It's either gonna bounce off the rim or it's gonna go through the net, and I'm fine.
You survived.
See, it takes a lot more courage to out the blue just go approach a young lady, because for one, it's been a long time since I did the whole club scene, and I wasn't really one to approach a lot, mainly because I've seen a lot of dudes get shot down. Like women can be brutal in their reaction.
Oh, what's your worst shot down story?
Oh, I that's what I'm saying. I didn't really do that. I learned from other people. I would watch my homeboy, like, they would turn around like, ugh, once I saw one in the club, I was like, oh no, I ain't doing that. Yeah, I ain't risking. Nope. It's hot, sweaty up in here. This ain't even worth my time.
So what makes guys want to shoot a shot if it's so terrifying?
Because at the end of the day, we don't care. We just gonna try. We're just gonna try.
All they can say is no.
I've been shot down, and it's like awkward.
It's awkward.
Yeah, it's just a failure, though. I think a big part.
Who are you with? Were you by yourself or?
It was a one-on-one conversation.
In person?
Yeah.
Like, were y'all hanging out right before? Like,
you trying to repress the number?
Pretty much. I mean, it was just like, you be chopping it up and y'all talking, and it's like one of the things that you be like, well, maybe this can be more. Like, we were talking, like we had discussed mutual interests, but it was more along the lines of like dragging someone along and actually making progress. So it was actually the time I was like, one of the times where I was like, do you like me, yes or no? That is my go-to line.
One at a time?
That's cute.
Wait, you did this multiple times?
Yes, that is my, you just gotta rip it off. You gotta rip it off, okay? Because I don't want to waste my time or yours. So I did that, and they were like, no. And I was like, so I asked them again.
Oh,
okay.
You doubled down?
I would have done that.
Because it was a pause with the no the first time.
5 minutes later.
What about that?
Yeah, it was, when he said no, it was like quiet. Like, he couldn't believe I asked the question. So then I was like, maybe he's just off put. He's shocked. He ain't never had nobody like come like this. So then I asked it again, and he was
baby, you got confidence. Go ahead, then, cuz.
No, it didn't work. It doesn't always work, but I think failure is a big important part of life. Like, you just I've gotten comfortable in my personal life and professional and everything in between. Like, I now know how to accept failure and not take it personal. Like, that's an important thing. I'm glad I learned that in my early 20s, because it was hard going through it, but now we're here.
Yeah. And I will say, not shooting my shot didn't stop me from experiencing heartbreak. Like, Mike is my only real healthy relationship. So not shooting your shot doesn't stop you from experiencing heartbreak. So it's going to happen either way. It's just, do you want it in the beginning? Because
I think that's my fear. I don't want to be out here sharing my life story with y'all in these streets. But I think that is one of my big fears, is just like that I'm going to be hurt. I know that is the big fear. I know that the fear is rejection. I know that the fear is failure. And that's why I'll be like, sleep. Like, that's why because I don't want to put myself through this.
We're going to do that every time we get uncomfortable.
Take
a whole.
People that
So we're talking about in the scenario that Danielle has mentioned. She's talking about mutual interest. We talked about that Alicia and Mike, that they knew that they were interested beforehand. So Charlotte, I'll ask you to lead this question off. And this is a question that I asked on the Facebook page today. How do you tell if somebody is interested in you enough for you to even engage?
I would start by saying you'll see signals. You'll definitely get signals for someone if they show interest in you. The signals vary. Like, I don't know, I'm big on, like, if I have I personally feel, which I should probably feel this way, but if I have someone laughing, if I feel like they have
you in.
you can have someone
You in.
being goofy. You hear me? You'll be
You in. That's the key.
Do you hear me knocking? But it's all about signals. If I don't know, if the signals are bad, then you can fall back.
Yeah.
If like not really interested in conversation, it's that awkward silence.
But with Jasmine, that could be like, that's her shot.
But I don't know how, that don't get people far.
Yeah.
I don't need the judgment. Again, this is not a Judge Jasmine thing. What about the rest of y'all? How would you tell if somebody was interested? Like with your boyfriend, with Danielle, with Alicia and Mike, with each other, how did you tell that they were interested? Or how did you tell before that person that they were interested?
From my experience, they'll say no when they're not. So you just
get real silent on the other end, don't they?
Yeah, you just go until they say no.
So if people keep talking to you, that mean they're interested?
No, that's not always what it means. No.
They can mean they're bored and you're available.
Yeah.
I would also say that you will know someone's
The
interested.
door ain't open, but it ain't closed.
Yeah. It's like a screen window.
I don't necessarily believe in that whole statement. What's understood don't have to be explained at all. Like, I think that it is true that there are some things that you know. Like I said before, it was evident because he was putting in the time and the energy. Like, even when we were dating, like, you know, he was driving 8 hours to see me for 2 days. Like, that's evident. You know, there was energy being put in. And I think that a lot of times now sometimes people make the mistake of trying to read between the lines. And in a relationship, when someone is really interested in you don't have to read between the lines. Like I said, he's my first healthy relationship. And for the first time in a relationship, I was pretty much just at peace. It was like, okay. Well, I didn't have to wonder. I didn't wonder, like, was he going to call me back? I wasn't wondering, was he going to text me back? The things I was wondering was like, you know, am I going to FaceTime with this bonnet? Is he going to be thrown off by that? You know, it was more like stuff like that. It wasn't like, you know, now mind you, I was still scared. I wasn't moving in the utmost confidence. We weren't talking marriage from the beginning, but I definitely knew based off his actions, and I believe he has to answer that question. I believe I was showing him that I was interested as well, you know, because, and for me, I'm a very direct person. Like, if I don't want to be spending time with you, I'm not gonna like pretend. So it's gonna be you will definitely know with me if like I'm not interested, because I'm not gonna stay on the phone with you because I don't like talking on the phone anyway. So
You might.
See, I shot subtle shots. I gave him the behind the back, you know. It was kind of, you know, and you like, oh, you just hit me with the shot. I ain't know, but I like it or I don't like it. And then by that time, you know, I decide if I want to stay for the rejection or the acceptance. But like even with Alicia, like I knew that she was not expecting me to text her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew we had been there talking for a long time. The conversation felt good. It didn't feel forced. We were just conversing. And then when I got home, I was like, well, she won't be expecting this, you know. So that was my subtle shot to me.
And then he made a big shot the next day because we were helping my best.
I didn't shoot 2 shots. I only shot 1 shot. No, just
what? Anyway, But he was like, hey, come with me. You know, he drove me down the street and we stood on the bed of the truck. You know, the truck has the bed in the back. And we stood on top of it and danced to the sun setting. Like, that was a humongous shot. Like, there wasn't a lot of like room for, does he like me or not? And so, I don't know. I think that just for like us, it was more clear. But you may want to ask him about the first shot that wasn't no good.
That's it.
I remember that shot.
How you get her number, bro?
Huh?
Let's come and see how you get her number, bro.
How I get her number?
Yeah.
Oh, I had to go. I actually went. So I come back from the oil field. I was in the oil field at the time, and I went and stayed at my mom's that night, and she had Alicia's number in her phone, so I just went and got out her phone. And
Took it.
subtle shots. Subtle shots.
So now I'm going to ask us to get a little bit deeper into our conversation. We've talked a lot, we've laughed a lot, and I'm not saying we won't continue to laugh, but I want to ask a more poignant question to you guys. And so, do you have any fears of what it means to be in a intimate, and by intimate I mean like in close proximity, like a vulnerable relationship with the opposite sex? Do you have any fears of that? And would you be willing to share those fears with us and how you're working out to overcome them?
Ask it one more time.
Do you have any fears of what it means to be in like intimate relationships? And by intimate, I mean vulnerable. Like you're in close proximity, not necessarily sex is not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about intimacy. And do you have any fears of those type of relationships, and how are you overcoming those fears?
I would say I have a problem with being kind of emotional in a relationship. Like, I don't know, I'm not really with the cuddling or just the up close. I like that space type, but I want your presence around me. That's not good relationship. I feel like I want you to do that. And a way that I'm trying to do better at that is trying to be more. I don't know. They say something about a man being gentle is his strength or something. And I'm trying to be gentle with a woman. I don't know. It's crazy because I really thought I knew women for a long time, and it took until me moving back into the house with my mom to realize that I really don't know women at all. And it's a lesson. Although she's my mom, she's still a woman at the same time. So just her, I'm not trying to say talk about females, but just like women aren't. Although Alicia say women, she's very direct with what she wants. A lot of women aren't like that. They would expect you to know what they want. And me, I'm the type of person that if you don't tell me what it is, I'm just gonna let it go. If there's a problem and you really show me, I'll know there's a problem. I'll let you know that I know there's a problem. And then if you be like, oh, it's nothing, I'm gonna drop it because you had an opportunity to let me know what it was right then and there. So don't get mad if I just brush it off and act like it's nothing, because that's the same way you did it. I'm gonna match your same energy. And women want men to be like, oh no, what's wrong? Talk to me. And just, I'm not finna cuddle you. And I don't know, I'm not good at that. So that's just something that I have to work on.
Yeah.
And be into and asking a lot, I guess.
Yeah. That's good. I agree.
He'll never find that answer, bro. You just gonna be forever.
You still learning?
I'll be optimistic. You may find the answer.
You will find the answer.
Well,
the answer is a question.
Mike doesn't think that I'm direct. He still feels like he don't know. That's why he's saying it. Like he don't.
You have direct moments. You direct to more confusion sometimes, and it's okay. You just gotta learn to, there's little cues up
Some
in there.
stuff
Okay.
Anyway, we're not.
Well,
but there is go ahead. My bad, Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
One second. The Quisha, I see your question. I'm gonna ask you in just a minute, okay?
Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't think I have fears. It's more like being uncomfortable. You know, I all the way out to Georgia like a little over 3 years ago, and I knew one person at the time, so I just kind of like moved at her on the work. So I got really used to like living alone because I lived alone. Like my family was like 800 miles away. I live alone. I didn't know anybody in the city I lived in. So literally, it's just like work, home. When I go places, you know, you look around. You're just always on guard because you're literally alone. If somebody snatch you, my family might not find out for like 72 hours because nobody's here. That's just how it was always it. Like I was just always on guard. So then like coming into being in a relationship in 2020, which has been a wild year, it's just like not being on guard all the time. It's not a fear of like letting down my guard. It's just I'm so used to like when we first started dating, simple things like opening the door. I would like open the door myself, even though he was standing there. Not because I'm independent. It's just if I don't open the door don't get open. That's how it's been for the last 1,000 days when I've lived here alone. If I didn't like now, he takes out the trash every morning. If I didn't take out the trash, wash the dishes, clean the toilets, even pump gas, all things I hate, they didn't get done. So I just was really used to living a strong, independent life. And there is nothing wrong with that, ladies. Live your strong, independent life.
Yeah.
But you also I've learned to make room for people to add to my life.
Make room.
Say a word. Say a word, little cousin. Say a word.
Yeah, just like being able to like let your guard down a little bit and not always know that it's like now, like yesterday, I was in the store. I said I was running to the store real quick and it turned into a 2-hour adventure because I couldn't find gloves.
Were you in Target?
No, I actually went to Kroger at the end. I found them Kroger. But anyway, he called me, was like, hey, are you okay? I thought you were coming right back. Like small things like that because I wouldn't think to communicate, oh, I went to 3 different stores, even though I said I was coming right back home. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just, and also being open to receive that, not being like, dang, stop blowing me up. I'll be there when I get there. Because also I'm used to being grown and I go where I want to go, come home when I want to come home because it's just me. And now it's just more like accountability and respect.
Yeah. Well, I will say that even as someone who is married, there is still a challenge to be vulnerable. Like, I think that a lot of times people think that when you get married, like this door just unlocks and you become open and all these things that healed and don't have baggage. And that's just not the case. And so I definitely feel like in marriage, you have to still work to be vulnerable. You have to still work to allow them to have room in your life. You have to still work for all those things because there are times when maybe your history comes into play. Or maybe your spouse does something that triggers you and makes you remember a time you got hurt. And instead of wanting to be open and not go to bed angry, you be like, no, I'm mad and you're not going to do me the way this person did. And so I think that a lot of times it just takes a lot of mindfulness in marriage to be with somebody every single day. And also, you know, and then when you add kids on top of that, that's a whole nother layer. When you add bills and finances and all those different things, and you are really trying to build a life, like there's not even, we were just talking about this yesterday, there's not even the same amount of time to discuss intimate or vulnerable topics, because you may need to air out something so that you and him can be on the same page, but you may have 3 toddlers running around or, you know, 3 kids running around in a room and it's just like, I know we need to talk about this. I don't know when we're going to talk about it. So we're just going to have to maintain until we can let this air out. So it's like you may be operating and running your household mad, you know, until you can figure out, you know, how to have that really important conversation, or you may be in your feelings about something, you know. And so I think that it's definitely something, it's still a struggle for me personally, but it's something that I do think that even this weird year of 2020 has been a blessing in that we've had to really, I think we're closer than we've ever been as a result of being in quarantine together, like working from home, raising kids at home, teaching from home, me being pregnant, postpartum, like all that. Like, I feel like now he is truly like my very best friend.
Made you feel good, huh?
Oh, you're so sensitive.
For people who want about vulnerability, I recommend Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. My therapist recommended it to me, and so did Jasmine, who was gonna be a therapist. Haha. And Alicia just talked about it. So Daring Greatly, Brene Brown.
Yeah. Or if you don't like to read, looking at the Call to Courage on Netflix. Brene Brown does that too. Both of those things. But we're giving it back to Mike. Share with us. You have any fears?
Yeah. I mean, of course, exposure is anything. I mean, we're covered up for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's because there's something you feel is worth protecting. And there is no guarantees in life. You know what I'm saying? So when it don't matter who you're with. If you're, I mean, even with, Alicia and I mean, I'm writing in my book, I mean, even about like it being married early on, you also, or dating even, like you have to wrestle with the probability as much as the possibility, like of this person not being who you think they may be. And we're all wearing masks, we're all putting on a facade up until we get to a place of a certain comfortability. And it takes a while to reach that comfortability for most people. One person may be full out, hey, this is who I am. And the other person is just like trying to take it all in, and then work on, showing themselves as well. And I don't think it's a bad thing either. I think I always like the quote from Coach Greg Popovich of the Spurs. He was like, he always talks about appropriate fear, which is really just respect. You should have an appropriate fear of, like, if I say the wrong thing to this person and I don't know as much about their character as I should, and this is something that's very important to me, it's a Samson style deal where, like, oh, I think I really love this woman, this Delilah woman, and then all of a sudden, you talking on your pillow and she's telling somebody else how to, get rid of you. You may not have studied her character, or she may not have studied his character good enough to figure out, whether or not this person is worth being vulnerable. So yes, there's still, I mean, and like I said, we're married, and it's still a thing where you are constantly peeling back layers of vulnerability and exposure to let somebody see them, because some things are new. You get new vulnerabilities all the time.
Yeah. I think that even that vulnerability piece, it plays in. I like what you said about probability versus possibility. That was really good. I think that even that vulnerability piece plays into relationships outside of like romantic relationships. It plays into relationships like friendships and cousins and aunts and nephews and sisters. And being willing to be able to be vulnerable is, for me, frightening, because of the possibility of being hurt. I talked about last week about the therapist that I'm going to see, and about just learning about my own defense mechanisms and how sharp my tongue can be when I'm feeling hurt, or how my humor can be a defense when I'm feeling hurt. Oh, go ahead.
Question. What are you, in your mind, like, what is it that you are afraid for people to see, or this person,
Okay.
gentleman?
Okay, with the question.
What is it that you...
I think that first thing is just, I think that I'm afraid that it won't be enough. If I'm honest, I think that I'm afraid that people will know the real me and they'll be like, oh, she lame. Like, oh, that she whack. Like, oh, she's corny. Like, oh, all of these things. Like, I got to know her. Am I muted?
No, Danielle is. She's
I
trying to talk.
said, if he doesn't think you're enough, he's trash.
Thank you.
Right. But I think that one thing that I found out, because I had those same fears, is that the person who loves you will love the things that you consider flaws. Like the very things that I feel like are that I have been told are some of my flaws. Like he really appreciates that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that a lot of times what we are masking, because we've been told, especially being African American, we're told that there's a specific Black that you're supposed to be, and if you're not that specific Black, then you're not Black. And I think we've all experienced that. And I think that unfortunately for us, sometimes we've listened to that and it has caused us to feel like we have to do something different other than be ourselves with people. And so, you know, whether it is that I like my son, like our son likes anime. I know he does. You know what I'm saying? The cartoon, like Dragon Ball Z. Ain't that anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like, yeah. And that's not typically an African American experience, but we're not gonna teach him like that he can't enjoy those things. And I think sometimes that's where that fear comes from.
And not only is there a fear of not being enough, but there are also, like, we all grew up around each other. We know who our mothers are. We know that our mothers are very independent, that they raised us to be very independent. And there's a part of me that is like, I don't want to be dependent on nobody. Like, I want to be all right. And yeah, that's the other part of my fear of vulnerability. I'll hurt people because I'm like, no, I don't need you. Like,
I would say a man, although a man don't want a woman that needs to be, I don't know about anybody else, but I wouldn't want a woman who needs to be dependent on me. I would want a woman that know how to be independent on her own in case a situation happens where I'm no longer here. She can step up to the plate and take care of the responsibilities of the family without stressing out. So although a man wants a woman who can be independent, he also wants a woman who can be dependent. He also wants a woman that knows how to be independent at the same time.
yeah, that's good.
If he don't want a woman who want to be independent, he's the wrong guy.
I appreciate y'all. Have my bit.
I have something for people in the comments or listening who may be in the same situation as I. I am in an interracial relationship with a white man. And listen, this climate today, being Black, it's just difficult sometimes being around other people. It really is, because the perspective is not always there. And that is something I was fearful of, like, going into our relationship. And obviously he moves very well in all circles, but it's not just your partner you worry about in relationships, it's your partner's plus ones.
Yeah.
It's their extended family and friends. And that was like driving me crazy initially, like, meeting everyone. But I think when you meet somebody, that was a fear of mine. I said I didn't have any fears. That was actually a fear. But I will say, like, in the year that has happened with, you know, all of the murders, the election, and just people being crazy in their regular racist selves, it has shown me that you have to trust your partner. Like, now, like, it's not even a question, but it's stuff we talk about. You can't just, like, sweep it under the rug, your fears that you have with your partner, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, he and I openly talk about it. And, you know, I'm just blessed to have a man who grew up with completely different experiences, be able to have perspective.
Yeah.
And not everybody has that. But I saw that, like, with Eve from the talk, was talking about her and her husband, they never talked about race. If y'all in relationships, you need to talk about race with your partner.
Bring Joel out.
Danielle, no, don't bring him out like you keep him in the back. Bring him on out here. Joel. Release her out of the neck. Hey, did that play into your thought process? The interracial relationship, that when you were initially shooting that layup shot,
I'm gonna
did
tell
that?
you guys, this is a judgment-free zone. I was like, you know,
we on the internet. Wait, this ain't Vegas. We on the internet. We gonna record. This is recording.
You know, I had never dated a white man ever. So I was like, here he is. They said,
Hey.
I can come in here now?
Oh my God.
You told me not to come in here.
That is not the truth. That is not.
What do you mean?
That is not the truth.
Huh.
I did not say that. He was in there playing some kind of game.
No, how y'all doing?
Upset.
Everyone doing all right?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody say hi to Joel in the comments. Tell him
No comments.
Oh my God, she sounds so old. Y'all heard said, "What's up?" Comments.
They didn't believe you was really white, bro. They didn't believe you was really white. Thank you for
No. But no, I had never dated a white man. So I was like, why not? Like, don't knock it till you try it, right?
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. If not, it'll be a story. I have a lot of those in my life.
See, and it's weird for I think it's different for Black women with white men.
Yeah.
You know, like for Black men with white women, that's kind of, you know, that story is played out a lot, but I feel like I see much less Black woman with a white man. So that's why I was wondering like how that affected you. Do you know anybody else? Do you know any other Black women that are dating or with white men?
I know one other, and Daisha and Jason. So they're cool. They're actually engaged now, so they're gonna be married. But I mean, like, we live in Georgia, which is basically a blue state now. But
Thanks, Stacy.
when we go out, like we were just talking, I want to say yesterday, we drive to Florida to his parents' place sometimes, and he was like, you know, because I hate road trips, but he doesn't mind driving. He was like, you know, when we go, I'm not trying to be rude, saying we can't stop at the restaurant and have to pee, but I just don't want to get out with you in some of these small towns we're driving through because I just don't want any problems. So like when we go out, sometimes you get like, I think mostly I received a comment from an old Black, usually it's older Black men who like make side comments to me about like, oh, that's what you like? Oh, you here with him? Like, you would be surprised. Like, you didn't have a chance, sir. You gotta go somewhere and check on that social security check.
Oh, that's what you
That's what you like.
That's what you like.
Like, you would be surprised. I had a man, like, it was somebody, he was our grandfather, like, he was grandfather age. And we weren't even like having a conversation. He just said, hi. I said, hello, how are you? In the produce section. He said, fine. He said, you find any good fruit? I said, no. Small talk in the produce section, right? I go find Joel in the beer. He was like, he walks back past me and was like, oh, so that's what you like? Like, you would just be surprised. It's like out of the blue. It's so weird. But it's like, nobody like comes out crazy talking. Praise the Lord.
Oh, this the kind of fruit you picking?
Yeah, like he was upset. Like, I can't believe you would.
Weird, man.
Oh, you don't like organic? No.
They said the black of the berry.
That's all good, but I can only imagine.
Fine.
We did have one question that was in the comments, y'all, and the question is, why do married men cheat?
There's only one married man.
Trail? No. That's going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much time we got. I can go all day on that, but it is. I mean, it's something that I think if it's not something that you're thinking about, as far as monogamy, if it's not something that you're thinking about before finding that person that you are in a relationship with, it's really difficult, you know. And it's I mean, men should control themselves. That's what we should do. Should control themselves. I think all people have impulses. And I don't think men, all the ladies, of course, can attest that men oftentimes express those impulses in ways that they shouldn't. And so I really think that for the most part, there's just not, it's a culture thing. It's a personal thing. It's layered upon layer, but really it boils down to really not really understanding what you want. Because I think that commitment is important in relationship. I think that, but like a lot of people, how we are in our society, there's more and more options. You know what I'm saying? Like the options are present so much more. Cell phone plan, all these different things. It's like no month. It's like it's month to month. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the 2-year contract and things like that. And I know this is all kind of all over the place, but I'm serious. Like everything is kind of like options now. It's like you can stay in it or you can get out. You can get out if you want to. Whenever you want to get out, just get out. And I think that's how a lot of men end up trying to be. They're trying to dip in and out so often. And that's layered as the reasons why, for us, sometimes there's it's the trophy that's almost, the more trophies you have, the better you feel about yourself. I think sometimes it can be in a relationship if a man doesn't feel like if he doesn't feel like a man in a relationship, he may try to go seek that elsewhere. These are not excuses either. These are actually terrible excuses. I actually challenge.
I'm glad that you.
I would challenge any guy. I would challenge any man on that too. But also too, like, you recognize that there is I don't know. So I got mad at a family member because he cheated on another family member, and it kind of caused a rift in our family. But my biggest issue was that I only had like two or three men that I knew of, like, personally, that were walking in a faithful relationship where you could, like, tell not only were they like I know people that have just been in a marriage and they just don't have the fight to get out and go do anything else. But I'm talking about like with somebody that is like faithful as far as like they are actively like trying to do new things with their wives, trying to spend quality time with them, reaching out to them, all these different things. I only knew a couple of men like that. And so when he faltered, like that really messed it up for me, that really, because I was like, I don't have many role models, so, it's hard to be optimistic. It's hard to feel like this is a norm that I should be a part of when you don't see that norm. It's like, I tell people all the time, like, there's not many Black billionaires in the United States, and part of the reason why, like, we see like one of the big reasons I think we see like wealth gaps, is because we don't know what it's like. We don't see a lot of people doing the things that we're actually trying to do. We don't see people attaining those really high heights, in like business and things like that. And I think it applies in our relationships as well, where we're looking at like, look, this is what men do. Men just cheat, and women look good to men. And I think that
all our faces was like,
everybody's face was like, what's next?
I do think that our culture even facilitates the I think our culture facilitates the opportunity for women to show just how beautiful they are, right? So now men are gawking, they looking. Should they control themselves? Yes, that's the bottom line. They should control themselves, but a lot of times, unfortunately, we fall prey to our own desires.
Yeah. Anybody have any part to add to that?
I'm not a man. I don't wish to speak for men. The men that I have, to me, whenever I assess, I'm a researcher. We all in grad school, in and out. I'm in and out. I think that a lot of times it seems like men who fall, there's a feeling of inadequacy, and that cannot be found or fulfilled out of that woman. That's a personal thing. Anytime I've heard a man, even when they try to blame women, oh, she didn't make me feel like a man, oh, she didn't this, or oh, girl was doing this and she was making me feel like this. It all seems to come back to that man didn't have a high sense of self-efficacy in himself to begin with. And so he was looking for that relationship to cause him to feel better about himself when he should have been doing that personal work in the first place. And I think that even though our society supports it, social media makes it easy. I think at the end of the day, whether it's man or female, a lot of times people are cheating either, to me, one, because they have a lack of self-efficacy, or two, they're being greedy, which to me still goes back to a lack of self-efficacy. Because when you're trying to hold up a whole bunch of different things, it just means that you don't feel like you can be enough without. And so that's my personal viewpoint on it. It's just, you hear loneliness, you hear all different types of things, and I think that when you are trying to fill a void in yourself with a relationship of any kind, you're going to build something that's not going to be strong enough to hold you. Because I was always told that there's nothing that a woman can do to keep a man. If a man wants to be there, he's gonna be there. If he don't want to be there, you can cook, clean, everything, give him what he wants every day, and he's still gonna leave. It has to be that man's choice of whether or not he wants to be there and be faithful. And for us, and for me, I think that also partnered with, if that man is a believer, that should help. It should help. I'm not saying it always does. I'm saying it should.
What they believe. No.
Help.
I said I also, but well, go ahead.
I'm gonna read the comments too, because people are responding back to us. This is okay. Martin said blame capitalism. Josh said I agree with Mike, and also the process of marriage is a guy loses focus on his marriage, and the woman he married, he could find himself focusing on other women. Jazz said it's why we had to be whole first. Why can't I read? Martin said, I think it's circumstantial based and the individual, and like she said, it's a personal issue rather than the wife. And then Kelly, she said, as a married woman, I struggle with losing focus. It's all a matter of not going down an unhealthy path. He explained it pretty well. And Martin said, because women be cheating too. That's it. and Jazz said that part, Alicia. And I go ahead.
But I mean, to Josh's point about like losing focus, like it really is. For one, I think it's really difficult because a lot of times we try to approach this as loners, and really, like this is really not any excuse. I'm strictly talking about influences that I see, like when I'm looking at other guys as far as like in their marriage and stuff, and I'm like wondering like where did this person like fall short? You know, like where did they start to stumble? Like a lot of our role models as men, they are even, especially in Black culture, like especially in our culture, you know, who we looking up to, you know, is pretty much it's either sports or music, and both industries don't breed a lot of healthy relationships that you see. Most of the time, you see this man with different women. You know, whatever. And so to a man, you almost feel like a guy could almost feel like I'm missing out. You know, like and in all honesty, I feel like women are really good at making men understand that they are upset with them. Like not direct. That's what I was talking about earlier. Alicia will indirectly let me know that she does not like what I'm doing or what I've done, you know, and that really, you know, that to a person, if you're by yourself, especially, you know, I'm fortunate to have people like Josh Mathis, who I've called on, and I imagine like, hey man, I'm really, really unhappy with Alicia right now. Like I am upset with her, because that's a vulnerable moment. That moment is a time where it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue with her and fight through this thing, or am I going to do like what I may see and be influenced by, and go and see what else is out there for me to make me feel better in a moment? You know what I'm saying?
Lack of self-efficacy.
But that's why I think like it's important, like, because we're not islands. You know, a lot of times I think like men are islands, and then we end up on this one deep tip, and we looking around like, oh, I'm okay, and you're really not okay. You really hurt. You're really upset, and you find ways to let that out some kind of way. And normally it's in an unhealthy way that's cheating.
And I will say that and I'll be really brief on this. I kid a lot, but I think that it is very important that the people that you have around you, and when you are in relationships, like whether you're married or not, like, you know, Danielle in a relationship, who is she going, like if she gets mad at Joel, who is she going to, you know, vent to, and what is that person going to tell? Because, you know, our dad used to always tell us, like, why do so many married women vent to single women about their issues, and the single women be like, leave him, girl, leave him, leave. Well, they don't have anything to lose, and no shade, but it's just kind of like, you have to be careful. Like, if you're interested in being faithful in your spouse, like, should you be asking your friend who can't seem to be faithful advice. You know what I'm saying? You have to be cognizant of the people you're surrounding yourself with. And I know for Mike, he makes it a point to try to put himself around men who also have the desire to be faithful and have made that commitment to be monogamous in their marriage. Like, you can't go ask, old boy who think I'm gonna tell my age, G Money Smooth or whatever he think he is. You can't go ask him what you need to be doing. That's always something my daddy would say. But you understand what I'm saying?
Smooth.
Like, you're not, as a married man, you're not gonna ask somebody who think he a pimp what she should do about your relationship. You're gonna ask somebody who's also interested in being faithful. And so I think that it's important also, like, when you're going, whose shoulder are you going to cry on? Because no matter the relationship, marriage or not, you're gonna have a moment where you don't like that person. So you need to have somebody that when you don't like your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, when you go talk to them, that they're going to be encouraging you to reconcile, unless it's an abusive situation, that they're going to be encouraging you to reconcile, instead of like, man, I wouldn't take that. You should just leave. It's going to be so many times in marriage you want to leave. It's going to happen. So you can't have people around you that are ready to help you jump ship.
You know,
Go ahead.
I have a very passionate family. I'm sure y'all have figured that out from this call. And I have learned in the, failed relationships I've been a part of to not, when you having problems with the person you're with, like, now I know everybody doesn't have the opportunity. I'm blessed to have a job with good benefits, and I have a therapist that has zero copay. So I can see her as many times as I want when I want. And it's available. But everybody doesn't have that. However, so when I, like, in the, I guess, 11 months we've been together, when we have a problem, I don't speak negatively about my boyfriend to my friends or family. I go to my therapist. For one, she get paid to listen to me, and she is not biased. She has no cat in this fight. When I tell Jasmine something, she's gonna tell me what she thinks is in my best interest. And then once me and my boyfriend cross that bridge, she's still not gonna like him.
I'm gonna be on the other side of the bridge.
Forward, she's gonna always be spewing negative things, and that's just how all of my friends are. And I'm a friend like that too. Like, we pick a side, and then no matter how much you forgive them, your friends don't always forgive them.
That's true.
And then moving forward, it's just always negative influences coming in from the outside. So I encourage people who do have the opportunity to go find a therapist, do that. And you should, because also your friends are not, like, they don't always, they have bad days too. They don't want to hear you unload about how Tuesday went when they Monday was full of crap too. Like, stop overloading people with your problems. If you can, ask for permission before you vent, but also seek professional help from a licensed counselor, not just somebody who was led by the spirit.
Yeah, I think that yields a good point. I do want to say that I think that you can have friends that can be responsible enough with their emotions to be able to separate and be able to see positive in that person, be able to advocate for the person that may not be the person closest to them. And in this situation, because of the example that was given, I would say, like, to say, hey, Danielle, like, maybe Joel is right in this situation. I think that you need to be able to gauge the maturity of the person that you're sharing with, whether they can separate these two things or not. But it's always a good thing to seek professional help. I advocate for that. There is a question that's in the comments. Y'all, it's 24 people on here. They really are intrigued by this conversation. So Kelly asked, she said, what if it's a friend who's been married or going through a divorce? Would you consider them the rightful person to vent to? What if it's a friend who's been married before? Would you consider them someone viable to get advice from?
Everybody has to be their own personal judge. Like, your friends. I was just saying that if you're, like, a lot of times it is a good idea to ask someone who has experience in the area that you're living in. Like, you're not gonna go ask, a glass maker what this concrete is looking like. You know what I'm saying? You might, but I mean, I don't know that you're gonna feel as confident. So I think that you should, like, to echo what Jasmine just said, if you know the maturity level of your friends and you trust their judgment, then that's on you. I'm just saying this as a general thought process. it may be good to ask somebody who has experience or is experiencing some of the same things, because there's no matter if you're living with a person, and this is my own personal opinion, so don't come for me in the comments. You know, they said it on YouTube all the time. But you know, this I happen to feel like there is a very different investment made, even if you are living with somebody versus being married. Like, something clicks once you get married that is very different than living with them. I cannot explain it, but you definitely feel the level of commitment shift. And I think that unless you have felt that shift, in my personal opinion, you just don't, it's not the same at stake. You know, there's not the same stake involved. That's my personal opinion, though. A lot of people feel like marriage is just a piece of paper, and that's their opinion. But I definitely feel like there is a big difference between, you know, the level of commitment you may have in marriage versus out of marriage. And that's because of my own personal faith and beliefs. So
Yeah, I think that even bouncing off of what you're talking about beliefs and beliefs about relationships, beliefs about marriage, is that even what we talked about this some last week too, is that when asking the question, why do men cheat? And then Martin so eloquently said, women be cheating too. That I think that it, in my mind, again, I am no expert. None of us are experts in this situation, but in my mind, it boils down to the fact that we're all broken. Like, everybody is broken. They're broken to some point, whether that's self-efficacy, whether that's trauma that they've been through, whether they just are ridiculous. And to some extent, our human nature is just broken, and that we are in need of something to help us. And for me, that something that helps me is my faith in Jesus. And so, considering that we, in humanity, that we consist of a lot of broken people that are trying to be in relationship with broken people, that means that some broken stuff is going to happen. And that doesn't excuse people's behavior, but it does say that when people fall, why do people fall? Because we all trifling. Like, we all are to some degree. And that don't mean that you put up with people because they trifling, because we all are trifling. I mean, you set the boundaries for yourself and you say, no, like, hey, you being a little too trifling for my taste right now. So I'm going to take it out of this.
You have to set your boundaries and respect what you said.
Yeah. You train people how to treat you. Like, that is the big takeaway from our father. Like, I definitely believe that that's kind of my mantra. No matter the relationship, you train people how to treat you. What you allow is what people will do. You know, how you set a precedent for how people treat you by how you treat yourself. And so I've made a lot of self-discoveries in these last few weeks and realized there are just some things that I have allowed even outside of my marriage and friendship that I just can't allow anymore. And I think that we have to really be cognizant of that fact and not expect, like I think one of the guys said, for people just to know what we want. Like, for people just to innately treat us well. Like, some people are coming from traumatic situations where they think they are showing you love based off how somebody else loved them, be it their parent or a grandparent who raised them. And so we don't always understand when you're coming into a relationship, everybody didn't get taught the right way to love. They got taught love by somebody else who didn't know how to love. And so we're all coming together to really just, you know, try to figure this thing out together, which is why, you know, for me, having that faith part is so crucial so that I can be led in what I'm doing. Because, I mean, just to be honest, like, I was a woman who got married. I was very independent. I wasn't trying to be Betty Homemaker. I wasn't trying to be domesticated. I was not doing, no. If you said submission wrong to me, it was going to be a problem. You know, just because I was not going to be dominated. But
I ain't gonna be here.
I was not going to be dominated, but that was as a result of experiencing trauma and sexual abuse. And so it's not like it didn't come from somewhere, but it is something that it has taken, and it's taken me 7 years in marriage to really work through, so that I don't feel like, you know, because at present, you know, I'm not in my job, I'm at home being a mom and a wife. And beforehand, I would be completely a lot more upset, you know, about, oh, y'all making a mess. Y'all think I'm a maid. This is not who I am. I'm better, you know, having to, you know, having to grow, period. just having to grow and understand that the people in my home are not trying to take advantage of me the way I may have been taken advantage of in the past.
Oh, that's good. I see what you're saying. That's good. Mike, where you going?
Fellas, hey, we gotta look out for each other. Y'all stop saying crazy stuff around your homeboy girl. She gonna talk to him about it in the car. Like, don't be saying the crazy stuff around like submission and stuff like that. You say that for y'all be alone and say stuff like that. I never said the word submission to Alicia. Everybody else would be saying submission, and then Alicia come home and she mad about the word submission. I ain't got nothing to do with that. We gotta look out for each other.
Okay, y'all. That's good. That's good. That's good, y'all. I think that we've been on here for a minute and we're gonna get ready to go off because it's about to be 8:30 now. It's only supposed to last 45 minutes. The conversation got good and y'all got engaged. So thank you so much for watching this. If this has been helpful to you, make sure that you like this video, that you heart this video, and that you share this video on your Facebook page if you found it to be helpful. Not only that, but just say thank you to our guests for coming on, for joining us tonight. I have really appreciated having my family and being able to share this with you guys tonight. So yeah, any final words from you guys?
Don't be the blind leading the blind. Don't follow the blind, guys. I think that'll take you far in life.
Yeah, I think that, overall, when it comes to fear, like you're never going to experience anything if you follow fear. Even if you try it and the thing that you're afraid of happens, you had that experience to grow from. So just keep pushing. And, even like what we have been learning, fear and faith work the same way. So you have to know that if you're continuously operating in fear, you're attracting the thing that you don't even want to happen. And so just make sure that you are, whatever. For me, I try to make it a point whenever I get scared, unless it's something reckless, I try to go ahead and just do it. So if it's writing a book, I do it. If it is something that's being vulnerable with my husband, I just do it. Just making sure that you're not letting the fear stop you, that you kind of, let that fear fuel you to do the thing that you were meant to do.
That's good.
Shoot your shot.
That's what I was going to say. Shoot your shot in every area of your life. Shoot it at work. Shoot it at home.
Keep that ball with you, huh?
Keep it with. They locked and loaded. They like.
We're gonna get off, guys. All right. Bye, y'all.
All right, please. Thank you.